Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Rick Roll. Alright, we had a couple of near misses with Flash, near misses that could have literally been lethal for her. And so I want to take precautions today to make sure we don't have this issue happen again. I don't know what's going on. Perhaps she's just getting old and her senses aren't quite what they used to be. But she used to have the ability to get into this planter in this back part of the yard, and it's never been a problem. She'd go in there and she'd hide under the flowers and stuff like that, and then when she'd exit back this way. Well, the problem is the yard slopes a little bit, and so it's a little further down from the planter here than it is over there. In the past, she's always just gone into the planter there and exited the planter there. But in the last couple days, she's attempted to come off of the planter here and end up flipping herself onto her back. Now, that's a real problem because she can't correct herself if she ends up on her back, and she's cold-blooded. So if she ended up in a place where she couldn't get away from the heat, she could literally bake to death. And like I said, I don't want that to happen. I want her to be here and have this be a safe place for her for the rest of her life. Now, like I said, it's never been a problem. This planter's been this way for, ever since I built it a couple years ago, and she's been in and out of here and in the planter a whole bunch of times, never had a problem. And as a matter of fact, in my house in California, there was a step up in the backyard. She easily could have done the same kind of thing, and in the place that she lived when she was with Beth, that could have happened. But all of a sudden last week she decided, hey, I'm going to four-wheel it off this thing, and ended up on her back both times. And like I said, luckily I happened to notice it before she got into too serious of a situation. And the truth is, it's kind of shady back here, so it wouldn't have been a problem. But if this happened somewhere else and she got in the sun, like I said, she could have baked to death, and I don't want that to happen. Now, when I built all these brick planters here, you may recall when I went to Home Depot, they actually gave me a great discount, and I needed like half a pallet of bricks, but they had an overstock of these bricks and gave me a whole pallet instead of half a pallet. And so I had a few extras, and as it turns out, I've already kind of temporarily built up the planter on this side so she can't get in here anymore. So, and I've also put these plants here to further discourage her from doing that. And you can see right now she's trying to get in there again and is kind of being thwarted a little bit. But and so, I immediately kind of put these bricks here just to keep her going. But now it kind of looks bad because it's uneven and all that. So I want to go over to Home Depot today, get some more bricks, and continue this all the way over here. It's going to be a simple little project. I don't think I'll probably go in the back, but who knows, I might, just to kind of keep it all even. And when we'll have kind of the bricks sticking up maybe more than they have to, but next year, maybe when all the plants kind of die off in the winter or whatever, we may fill it up more with some soil and bring the soil level up again. That won't be such a bad thing. But for now, just to make it look good and to kind of complete the project, I want to get the bricks all the way across the front here, and that means a trip to Home Depot. Alright, I'm back from Home Depot. I got more of the bricks, and we're just going to put them into place. Now, I actually mowed a little bit yesterday, so I got a little bit of leaf waste floating around here, and I want to get that out of the way first, but this shouldn't take long. Okay, got the stones into place. Put 7 of them in. I actually bought 8 of them, and I'm going to actually have to split the last stone here because it doesn't quite fit into this position. So what I'm going to do is measure the distance between the end of this stone and the wall there, and then I'm going to have to split that one. I've done that before. I actually do a pretty good job of it with a hammer and chisel, and I can get usually a pretty straight line. So we're going to work on that. That'll take a little bit of time, and I'll show you what the final product looks like. So I tend to put food out for the squirrels to keep them down on the ground. I've been noticing the last couple of days that the food that I put out, which usually lasts 2 or 3 days and keeps the squirrels going, has been going pretty quick. And I've been trying to figure out why, and I think I figured out what's going on here. We got our culprit here that's going out and picking up all the squirrel food. And that guy up there by the birdhouse isn't happy about it. Now, ironically, I put the birdhouse up there for the birds, but it actually appears that the squirrels are using it. Whatever, as long as somebody's getting some good use out of it. Now, cutting these stones is actually pretty easy. I've done that a bunch of times because, you know, when you're putting these things out here, you have to cut them to make them fit. And fortunately, like I said, they split pretty easy. Basically, you draw a line where you want to do it, where you want the split to be, and then you just kind of score it with a hammer and chisel. And you do it on both sides, and you'll get kind of little micro fractures. It'll go all the way through it, and at one point you'll just pound it with a hammer, and the part that you don't want will come right off. And then the secret here is you just put the chisel on the line, and you kind of go back and forth across the line, pounding it once each time on both sides. You might have to go back and forth a few times up both sides of the stone to get it, but eventually it will split right down the line. Really nice. Easy peasy. Of course, I'm wearing goggles to protect my eyes from flying shrapnel because that's no fun. Like I said, you'll have to go back and forth a few times. But each one of these impacts sends like a little shock wave straight down through the stone and creates these little micro fractures in the stone, and eventually it'll just split real nice. Gonna get up on my knees here and get a little bit more altitude on it. That'll hopefully give me a little bit more power. It's hot out here, so I'm having to wipe off the sweat every once in a while. Okay, I got a crack going now. It shouldn't be long now. There it goes. Now look at that, nice straight cut there. And so there's my stone, and it's a little tight in there. We have to chop off a little bit more, but that's pretty much how you do that. And it turns out I thought I'd measured wrong, but it just turns out that when I was banging on the stones here, this stone over here kind of shifted a little bit that way. So when I pushed it back that way, pushed that one in, I was able to bang that one in with a hammer. And so we're in position now. So there we go. We have successfully raised the level of the bed by 1 layer of bricks, and we should be ready to go now. Like I said, probably next spring, when some of this stuff dies out a little bit, we will raise the soil level in here. It won't hurt to have a little bit more quality soil in here. I still don't think I'm going to increase the height of the bricks in the back. I think we're going to be fine there. But look at how well everything's doing in here. You remember when I planted this stuff just a few months ago, it was, well, it looked pretty healthy at the time, but it's doing much better now. Even that philodendron kind of came back in. I wasn't sure whether that was going to come back or not. But everything in there is nice and healthy right now. Maybe with the exception of that piece, but even there, over there it's looking pretty good. The hydrangeas are looking really good. So, and even those things which I planted a couple years ago and thought had died off, they're actually taking off and doing their thing. See, I chose these things specifically because the neighbor has the same thing growing in their yard and allowed to go. It's just basically covered up the fence, and I love that because these fences aren't the most beautiful thing in the world, are they? So I think we've done a much better job now at protecting Flash. Hopefully there won't be any more accidents with her that put her life at risk. I want to make this yard inviting and very hospitable to her, but I also don't want to put her in a position where she gets hurt or worse. So I think we're in good shape with that, and let's go look at the garden. I haven't shown you that in a while. That's my tomato plants. Aren't they doing great? Look at that. They're all up above the trellis thing. There's 2 different varieties of tomatoes in here. There's the little cherry tomatoes, which I put in the back, and they're clearly growing a lot taller than the big beefsteak tomatoes, but even the beefsteak tomatoes are looking really, really good. They're coming up, and look at that. That's going to be a nice tomato before too long, right? And I've gotten a couple of cherry tomatoes out of here already. You know, often what the problem with the cherry tomatoes is at least at the beginning, they come so slowly that they don't even make it into the house. They just come right off the vine and pop them right into my mouth. But yeah, I can see a couple more of them growing right there that we ready to eat in not too long. Now these little cherry tomatoes, the ones I've gotten so far, are really, really small. They're probably maybe the size of a small grape, but they're really, really sweet. So I'm looking forward to getting some nice fresh tomatoes off of this thing. And like I said, we got a good start with that one big beefsteak tomato in the front, and hopefully the rest of them will produce before too long. And these are going to get to the point now where they start laying down on top of the trellis, and I hope to get a good harvest this year. Strawberries, that's sort of a little different situation. Most of the plants are still alive, but I don't know, this may not be something that produces much for me. It's been suggested, and I don't know if this is true or not, that the strawberries here are kind of perennials. So maybe the first year may not produce a lot, but they may come back next year. Now, even if they aren't producing a lot, there are a few plants that are alive, and I do see some little strawberry action going on there. So who knows? Maybe the problem here is we've just gotten a lot of rain this year and not a lot of sun. I think these things may be sun lovers, and as we get more into the summer and the sun moves more to the west in the sky, this will get more sunshine, and maybe that'll help too. But anyway, they're doing okay. I mean, I lost a couple of them, and that happens. And of course the tomatoes are thriving. And in fact, I got something in here. It looks like another tomato plant. I don't even know what that is, but we're going to let it grow and see what it does. And so maybe we'll get even more tomatoes out of this thing. But I think that's all that I have for today. So Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.